Hi guys, Raven here. This is probably like 15. I'm trying to make a video today because I'm trying to make a video where everything that I say makes sense. What I wanted to talk about today was public defenders. It's been said to me that people who have public defenders doesn't fare well in court. And that might be true, but it doesn't guarantee that you won't win the case. There's probably times where a public defender had successfully won a case for a defendant who was being tried for a criminal matter. Now, the reason why I said it that way, a criminal matter, is because there's some misconceptions that people think, well, I can't afford a lawyer, I'm just going to get one appointed for me. Yeah, that could happen, but not all cases is appropriate for that. One example would be a civil case. I'm currently in a lawsuit dispute right now. I'm not suing for anything. I'm the one that's being sued. There's nothing I did that would justify getting sued. Nothing I did was wrong. I'll get into details about that later, but my aunt told me that my cousin, who I'm a co-defendant with in a lawsuit, was going to get a public defender to take his case. But the problem with that is civil cases does not qualify to have a public defender, at least not in Ohio, at least not here. Yesterday I talked to a judge, or not a judge, a court employee about them, and I talked to an attorney, and both of them, both of what they said lined up. Civil cases don't have public defenders. So I'm in a situation where I can't ask the court for a public defender. But the misconception, oh well, you can get a public defender if you can't afford an attorney. Yes, that's true. But only in criminal matters, not in civil matters. So that's one misconception about that. Others, I think I might mention earlier that people seem to think that, well, a public defender means you ain't got the money. Well, it does mean that. But you don't have the financial means to get a really good defense lawyer team to help you win your case. Now, I get it. You're afforded a public defender, but that's only in criminal matters. So, I think my cousin's little plan is going to blow up in his face. Because if he goes and asks a judge for a public defender to take his case, she's going to tell him no, and I say she, because she's a magistrate. I don't think magistrate. Now, people like Virgo or Degeneration Nation or Ban can correct me if I'm wrong, but magistrate judges only handle civil matters. That's it. But then again, I could be wrong about that. I mean, normally I'm well versed in laws of what goes on in courtrooms, what can happen, what can't happen, and stuff like that. So, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I haven't told my cousin yet, but I hate to be the bearer of bad news to him when I tell him that he can't, a public defender, he can't seek the assistance of a public defender because it's not a criminal trial. It's a civil matter. So, but people who get public defenders, like I said, usually they don't fare well, but it doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to lose that case. You just never know. There is a high profile situation going on with a Moorish American. She is in the state of Pennsylvania, and she is sitting in what I think is a county jail right now, awaiting trial, which is going to happen till March. Sharon Tracy Gale is her name. And if I understand Virgo's video, that even though Sharon Tracy Gale was representing herself, a judge still assigned a public defender, just to kind of be there as a backup, because people who normally represent themselves in a manner, it doesn't bode well either. It never works out. Almost is the key word, almost. But I've yet to hear where a person who represented himself actually won a case. I've never heard of it. It's probably happened. But, no, so, if you're caught up in a legal situation, to understand that public defenders only applies in certain situations, not a civil matter. And what made me call the courthouse and talk to a lawyer was because what my aunt said about what my cousin was going to do. And so I went to go inquire about it, and I was told no. But at least that's it here in Ohio. I don't know if it's different from other states, but I know here in Ohio, a civil case matter is not a case that's eligible to have a public defender. That's basically what I'm trying to say. But again, be cautious before you start making the claim that, nobody can win with a public defender. It's not true. Well, an appointed public defender. I think people in Texas could probably correct me on this. But there was an inmate named Robert Pruitt, and I had seen his case, and I think he had the support of a legal aid to try to help him get off death row. I think maybe once or twice he was successful in getting his execution date postponed, but in the end he was eventually executed. I'm using that as an example because it was like it was basically a non-profit organization that was trying to help him win a new trial. Didn't happen. But I don't know if they were public defenders or just a non-profit group to try to help him win a new trial, which I think he was executed in 2017 at the age of 37. I believe. So, now, I mean, he was able to get the execution called off a couple times, but ultimately, he didn't win his case. All he did was just delay his date of death for a period of time. What happened in his case was he was already in jail, and I think he was serving a life sentence for a murder, I believe. And one day he was eating a sandwich in the hallway, and he was told, you can't do that. You cannot eat in these hallways. And he eventually turns around and kills an officer out of retaliation for a disciplinary action that was put upon against him. And subsequently, Peru was tried on the murder charge of a police officer and convicted and sentenced to death. Now, I don't know how many years he spent on death row. I can look it up, but I think that's only maybe the best that public defenders can do is maybe delay sentences or delay executions. But to get somebody exonerated is a pretty much slim to none chance. But anyway, I wanted to make a video about public defenders. Some people say, oh, you know, regardless of what I've done, I can always get a public defender to take my case. And that's true, but there are exceptions. And one of them being civil. It's usually, I think, public defenders are reserved for major criminal cases. Look at Sharon Tracy Gale. As I said, you know, she, as a public defender, even though she's representing herself, the court still appointed a lawyer, you know, just to be there to back her up. Or does she have two? Virgo would be another one who could probably correct me on that. But I don't think the outcome of this looks promising for Sharon Tracy Gale. You know, back in early January, I think it was, she made a vow. I will not be in prison, or in jail rather, in prison until February. I'm going to get out. And she was applying to her people. Please, raise enough money. Help me, you know, bail me out because I can't stay in this jail until February. Well, here's the one thing though. She's right. She isn't staying in jail until February. She's staying in jail until April when her case is going to be heard. And I believe it could be April the 18th or something like that. That's another question Virgo can answer, because she is on top of these Moorish sovereign citizens. You know, I'm just going off by what I'm thinking. But anyway, that's what I wanted to make a video about. I wasn't going to ramble on. But anyway, I was making it in case there's people wondering, well, I'm getting sued, but I can't afford an attorney. Can I get a court to appoint a defense attorney for me? Every state's different, but I know at the very least here in Ohio, it's not. I've been told that by a court clerk. I've been told that by an attorney, and I've even searched it up. And I can't find any place where a public defender was used in a civil case. And I'm thinking, I can't find it because it probably doesn't exist. that it doesn't happen. Period. But that's my take on that. Alright, I'm going to see you guys on the next video. Made this a little longer than I wanted to, but that's fine. It helped me kill some time. Oh yeah, did I say that today? Date is February 11th, 2020 at 10:06 p.m. Now normally by this time of night, I'm winding down, with the exception of Wednesday nights. But it's Tuesday, so that that's that. So, alright, I'll see you on the next video. Peace.